Go put this up. Okay, let's start again. Bismillah walhamdulillah wa sallallahu wa sallam ala rasulillah wa alihi wa sahbihi wa man ittaqa. Okay, I want everybody here to know that I am very, very honored and very happy and very pleased with the work ethic and what we have accomplished so far. I also want everyone to know that we have finished jumping through the first set of hoops, so to speak, of what I call the usul. The usulul ilm, okay? The fundamentals of knowledge. Where we learn the objective of the Sharia, right? We learn the ahkam of the Sharia. You guys get my point right here? And now we're at the end of it over here. Then we learn the usul of the adab of the talibul ilm, which is basically the usul of the adab of people in general. Right? Everybody follow me?
Yes.
We broke that down, and now we're at the first 10 questions. The first 10 questions. You guys remember that?
Yes.
That's where initially we... Mabadi al-Asha is how you say it in Arabic, but the first 10 questions is what we're referring to. It ends, it closes the book, but at the same time of closing the book, it's always the first 10 questions on every science you study. Does that make sense? Yes or no?
Yes.
Okay. Now, every science, every educational format has a particular way of presenting that format. Does everybody follow me?
Yes.
Yes or no? I need you guys to talk to me.
Yes.
Okay, so in the format where we're going over the usulul ilm, what we did was what's necessary in that arena. Now we're moving to the next marhala, or circle, I don't know what to say. Next phase is a way I want to say it. The next phase. And that phase has a whole different presentation, outlook, and mannerisms. Does everybody follow me?
Yes.
Okay, so again, from, you know what they say, from amiq al-qalb, from the bottom of my heart, wallahi, I am very proud of you guys. Very honored. I know we don't have any pride, but very honored, very dignified by the work ethic and what we have accomplished. Like I stated earlier, most communities don't have the maturity and the honesty to take a step back in order to go forward, right? And have the difficult conversations and be patient with the process. Okay? So we've been patient with the process. Guys, turn off those phones. In fact, I got something for you. But you're gonna have to find that thing. You know, I forgot where I was at. Okay, so now as we start this new phase, I'm not going to give you a break. That's why I wanted to thank you guys right now. Okay, I really, no, seriously, because students sometimes may think, man, this guy doesn't realize what we've gone through. I do realize what you've gone through. I definitely understand, but you have to realize how far behind we are. Okay, and how much we have to do just to get to zero. Okay, just to get back in the black. So, sometimes people say, well, I did great. Don't pat yourself on the back yet. It's not over. By far, it's not over. But we're getting there. You can take a breath, take the breath. All right, now that's over. Pick that ruck back on, put it on, and we got another, it's still a marathon. We just got to the 10-mile mark. We still got another 16 miles to go.
And 1,000 words to remember.
And 1,000+ words to remember. Those 1,000 words are just mostly connectors. A lot easier. Now, this is what I want to talk about today. Okay. What are we going to do from now on? See, what we did so far was our warm-up. Okay? What we just did was a warm-up. We're picking up the pace. There's going to be 3 classes a week. It's going to be on Monday, on Wednesday, and Yom Sept at 10 a.m. 10 a.m. here, I'm going to be here. Okay? And I know that may not work for everybody. I'm sorry. I had to find a time that works. You know, my family makes humongous sacrifice. You know, my mother was a school principal. My father was the founding vice president for Medgar Evers College in New York. So I grew up having to share my parents, you know, with a whole bunch of teachers who were like their children. And then the students who were like their grandchildren or their children and things like that. And I didn't like it, to be honest with you. I didn't like it at all, you know. But alhamdulillah, you get used to it. Now I'm following the family business, right? I never thought I was going to be a teacher at that regard. But I understand. You know, I understand how it has to go like that. So I'm saying that to apologize that the timing may not match everybody, but it's very difficult for my wife at home by herself with the children and stuff like that. So we have to try to, you know, make it even, you know, not even, but give her some type of break in that regard. Does that make sense? Yes. Okay. Plus she helps out on the online things because I refuse to become too computer literate. You know, it takes away from holding a book. So understand that, but understand this too. We are picking up the pace, okay? And I cannot afford to let you sit there and bask in the glory too much because that's just not what we need to do right now. And it's not something new. It's not something unique to us. Everybody has to do it eventually. And we're setting the tone for all the people who are online, who are watching, and they're keeping up with you. You get my point? Yes. So everything we get to exemplify here, people get to enjoy vicariously through us. It's like, what they call it, those TV programs where it's like, what is kids watch now that shows live, like it's real life? Reality. So this is a reality classroom, okay? It's easy for someone to watch a TV program where the experts are there speaking, right? But they say, well, I can't. That guy, of course, knows Arabic. What about the guy who's struggling like me and they see someone like them, you, okay? And they see the progress as it goes, as it goes, as it goes, as it goes. Yes, we have some ringers in the room. We need ringers, okay? There are different levels of Arabic in the room. That's great. That's our community, okay? So we're gonna set some goals and we're gonna go for it, okay? So please don't get upset and think that I don't understand what you're going through, okay? Because I have been there, okay? I've had to learn Arabic. I speak 8 languages. So I do know what it takes to learn a language, okay? To be really, really good in a language, it takes you 6 months. 6 months. That's right. 6 months. To be really, really good in a language you don't know anything about. But is that Arabic? No. Can we say we don't know anything about Arabic? No. No, we know a lot about Arabic. We use it every day. One of the hardest things to do in a language is learn the rhythm of the language, okay? We know the rhythm of the language of Arabic because we speak it, we recite it, we're used to hearing it. So the hard part is over. The next thing I want you all to understand is that our objective is very clear. Our objective is to learn how to communicate verbally in Arabic and to hear Arabic. Does that make sense? Yes. What is your objective? I want a full sentence.
Our objective is to learn Arabic and how to hear it.
Okay, did I say it was to learn how to read Arabic?
No.
No. So we have to put off that objective in order to focus on the speaking aspect. Does that make sense? Yes. Some of the people who speak Arabic or read Arabic might say, well, you know what, I don't know which word that is. You learn it from hearing it, just like you learned English from hearing it. So the way I'm going to write, we'll go through the Arabic-English alphabet transliteration that I'm going to be using, but our focus is going to be on communicating verbally. So even the books that we're going to write, the children's books that we're going to write, is going to use the Roman script in Arabic so that you get the practice of using the words. Does that make sense, everybody? Yes. We're going to be using all your talents, all of us together, to draw pictures and to make these things so that we can inundate ourselves with the Arabic language. The only way you're going to learn Arabic is if you determine, you make your intention right now to drown yourself in Arabic for the next 4 months. 4 months. Does that make sense?
Yes.
I cannot guarantee, but I can almost guarantee that if you do that, we will achieve the minimum of A1 speaker in Arabic language. Now, how many levels of Arabic are there? Of any language?
I don't know. Not sure.
Good answer. What's that?
No, I said I'm not sure.
Oh, there are
6.
6 levels. Thank you. There are 6 levels, but really they're broken down into two types. You have A, B, and C. Okay? You have A1 and 2, A, B1 and 2, C1 and 2. Okay? These are the levels. Now, everybody has to understand this. In 4 months, you will not be a C2 speaker of Arabic. A C2, most people who speak Arabic aren't C2 speakers, meaning natives. Most natives are not C2 speakers. Most natives are between C1 and B2. Okay? Because C2 is the level of the scholars of that language. Does that make sense?
Yes.
How many people here are English majors with PhDs in English? Okay, well then you're not a C2 English major. You get my point?
Yes.
So most of our English is B2 or a C1. If you're educated and well-read, okay? And you know how to use a dictionary, you can, those words that you need to look up. If you're not using a dictionary so much because you understand every word, you're probably a C1 speaker. Because you can read all types of technical words and medical words and you understand them already, then you're C1. If you're looking up, you're B2. Does that make sense, everybody?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. So, in order to get to B2, C1, you have to go through A1, 2, B1, 2, and then down there. Now, normally it takes about 2 years to become a B2 speaker. 2 years, okay, of studying the language. And that is, as an English speaker, you study Alfiyat ibn Malik, his poem. It's a 1,000-line poem in Arabic. You have to memorize it. Lamiyat al-Af'al, you have to memorize that poem. Ajrumiyya, you have to memorize that poem. The Mu'allaqat al-Sab'a, you know, you have to memorize. These are poems, the ancient poems that are written in Arabic. You have to memorize those and understand them and explain them. Then you get to be C1 or heavy on B2. You get my point?
Yes.
In that regard. Alhamdulillah, in Mauritania we do all of that. But that's because you're not A1, A2 when you get there. Okay, you're like B1 once you show up there, so it's not a large, thing. The problem with Americans is we think that we're not even A1, and we want to show up at Mauritania expecting 2 years to be B2. It's not realistic. In fact, we go to places like Egypt to do that. Okay, where Egypt, the language is the TV language, not the classical language. Okay, so it's heavily mixed with what? Turkish. Okay, that's why you have all those. The word ustad, it's not Arabic. It's Turkish. Okay, and so many other different fendi. It's not Arabic. You guys get my point? Anybody been to Egypt recognize some of those things, right? But it's great. Egypt got famous for their language because they were the first ones to go international with TV. So everybody was watching, just like Mexican soap operas are the ones that everybody watches, right? So the Mexican Spanish is better than the Spanish. The Spanish is more well-known than the Spain Spanish. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Okay, because of the television. But the television is not a teacher, okay? And we already know that. It teaches some real bad things. Back to the point, our objective is this, okay? That is our objective, to accomplish A1. For those who are already shakily A1 or maybe strong A1, then maybe we can get you to A2. We can possibly do that. But my objective is the majority. Okay? And that's the because once we get enough people in A1, unitedly we can easily move down to A2. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Yeah.
Why does it make sense?
Because as a group in a whole, you can learn and study together. And
It's true. What's the biggest problem you have as an Arabic speaker?
Nobody speaks.
Speaking to someone.
Thank you. The biggest problem, and I mentioned him because I know he studied Arabic years ago. Okay? Now he's already an A1 speaker, or probably close to being an A1 speaker in Arabic. However, it gets shakier and shakier. Why? If you don't use it, you lose it. That's the way it is. Okay? I used to live in Japan. I used to speak Japanese. I don't speak Japanese anymore. You know why? I haven't had a reason to speak Japanese since I left Japan in the 80s. So what Nihongo wa karimasen. So I can say hello and goodbye and please, dostashi must stay. I can say a few things, but I don't use it. Now, if I watch a Japanese movie, if I watch it the second time, I pick up more. You know, some of the stuff starts to come back. If I use a dictionary with it, or watch subtitles, and it's like, yeah, I got that. But that's not, you know, memory. Okay, I'm not recalling. Okay, that's being reminded. You get my point?
Yes.
All right, alhamdulillah rabbil alamin. Plus, there's no purpose for it. There's no reason. There's no result, right? No good result. I have no reason to speak Japanese anymore. Does everybody follow me?
Yes.
I'm not going to miss it if I never spoke Japanese again. You get my point?
Yes.
All right. Alhamdulillah rabbil alamin. So our objective is what? A1.
A1.
Now, what is A1? An A1 speaker is a person that can talk about himself or herself. Basic conversation about oneself. Okay? And basic needs. What are basic needs? First one is help. That's the first basic need. Right? How to ask for help. And what do you need help? She said, food, toilet. What else?
Directions.
Directions.
My name is.
That's introductions. That's basic about myself. Intros.
Oh, okay.
Introductions. Who am I? Right?
Okay.
Those basic things.
Basic
okay?
transactions.
Who am I? Where? I am from. You can. I am from. Okay. Going. You get my point? Your point here?
No.
This is the basic conversation about myself. Okay?
Okay.
Which would include knowing my body. Why is it important to know my body parts and numbers?
If you're sick, you need to.
Right, if something hurts, I got to be able to say, my knee hurts, not my ear. Right? I have to be able to describe what is bothering me, where I want to go, right, left, up, down. Okay?
Yes.
So this is the basic conversation, the basic needs that someone wants. Help, food, toilet, directions, right? You guys get my point?
Yes.
And then basic manners. Manners. This is not a complete list, okay? But this is a majority list. So everybody can soak that up?
Yes.
Why is it important that you know this now? Yes, ma'am. You moved your head, that means you were thinking about it. Why is it important now?
So we won't have a
No, that's cheating. Don't help her. Go ahead, young lady. No, that's not the right answer.
So we won't have unrealistic expectations.
That's one reason. So we won't have unrealistic, but let's put it in a positive tone.
So we will have
So we can set realistic
goals.
Right. And so we can see, we can begin with the end in mind.
No.
Does everybody remember? We have to be goal oriented. We focus on what we're supposed to be doing and we don't get sidetracked. Does that make sense, everybody?
Yes.
Now, do we need to be able to talk about the moon?
No.
No. How about them Yankees?
No.
It's not here, is it? You're not reading the newspaper yet. Okay, that's on B1 and 2. Even in A2, actually, is reading the newspaper. You're not reading advertisements. That's in A2 as well. To know whether you want to go to this particular hotel. But you do have to know how to get into a hotel. Okay? You have to know how to go through customs. You do need those things. Yes, sir.
How about buying and selling? Is that?
Of course, that's basic needs. Want, I want. That's a very important sentence. Okay? I want. You get my point?
Yes.
How
So,
much?
excuse me?
How much?
Right, that's all going to be in there.
Basically.
But see, you know what you start to notice automatically? That this can be done through phrases.
Mm-hmm.
You get my point?
Yeah.
Phrases would fill in the blanks. So all you need to know, now there might be some English words in there, right?
Yes.
If you can fill in the blank, you put it in there. We'll get through that, the words you don't know. But most of it should be surrounded with the Arabic word, the Arabic phrase.
No.
Does everybody follow me?
Yes.
No.
The way to this is scripting. What's it called?
Scripting.
Scripting conversation. Now, I need you guys to do what I tell you to do. When I tell you to do it, it's like baking a cake or anything else. You can't do it on your own time. Certain time, the recipe needs a particular activity, right?
Yes.
It's a particular ingredient. If it's not done at that time, down the road, the thing is no good. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Okay, same thing here. I've told everybody to get on Duolingo. Duolingo. You go in there, you find where it says your settings. After you go to your settings, it goes to share your progress. You hit that, and you go to Timbuktu Arabic class. That allows me, that puts you in my classroom, and it allows me to monitor your progress. Now somebody put in there secret T or something. I'm gonna throw that person out the classroom. I need your name, okay? I need the name of the person. Yes, ma'am.
So dual is regular dual.
Duolingo. Can someone help her to show how to get it done?
Or that means how many pounds go.
So somebody should know how to do it. I have to get my child to help me. Okay, because to get it on the phone is a lot smaller. I put it on my screen because I couldn't really see it too good on my phone.
How do you spell it?
D-U-O lingo.
That's what I was asking.
Duolingo.
Duolingo. You gotta watch the New York accent. Okay, that's the other thing I don't want anybody to trip on. Assalamu alaikum. I don't want anybody to trip on accents. There are lots of different dialects of Arabic. So what? There are lots of different dialects of English too, right? You got the Australian, you got the Boston, you got the New York, you got the Texas, you got the South Carolina, right? You got all types of, you got the London, who they're supposed to speak good English. They talk terrible English, right? You got all these different accents from all over the world, but everybody, it's intelligible. Why? Because you're laid back about it. You're not going to be, so stubborn about certain things. Certain people use certain phrases, certain times. You got to try. You got to really try to understand it. Verbal communication is how much? What percentage approximately? 20%. And the rest of it is body language, right? 80% body language. So use all of that as well. All right? The other thing is when you go to Duolingo, I expect you to spend at least 20 minutes a day on that thing. 20 minutes a day doing, and I can check and see if people are doing it. Okay? Why? Because you got to go through that. That's practice for you. Even if you already speak Arabic. Okay? I'm doing it too. right? So I can see what's in there, and I'm seeing that it is beneficial to go through that whole process. I'm looking at it, and I'm telling you, I like it. I like the things that it has going on there. It's repetitive. It makes you learn to look and pay attention to what the sentence is. It's easy enough for someone to follow, you know? Now, I guess the phone thing to me is too small, but I wear glasses, you know? So if you want, put it on your computer. If you have a computer at home, you can see it larger. That's not it, though. I have posted 1,000 words. 1,000 commonly used phrases, not phrases, words in the Arabic language. Is that a lot of words?
No.
It is and it isn't. It's 1,000 words is and it's not. No.
Sounds like it.
The point is, I'm going to go over each one of those words on video. You got to watch that video. Okay? I'm going to do each one of those words and just a few moments on it, explaining what it is so you can see it. What should you do? You should take that word and make a card out of it, okay? You don't have to buy a whole bunch of expensive things. Take a piece of paper and cut it in 3s or 4s. Put the word in transliteration or Arabic and put the English on the other side and play games, okay? You need to know those words immediately. When you see it, when you hear it, you should know. Now, don't be so stern. Watch the video, because what they'll give you as a translation, I'm going to give you as a concept. Which is more easier to use? Concept. Because if you get stuck on the one words wrapped around an axle, you don't realize that word is that actual word that they gave as their translation is only from one angle. You get my point? It can be used in a more broad sense in different ways. Does that make sense, everybody?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so watch those videos as we go through those words. It'll help you relax and see how you can play with the language. That's the other thing. Play with it. It does not have to be perfect. There was an old Cuban guy. Always in New York, there's an old Cuban guy. All right? And the old Cuban guy never really learns good English. But he knows how to say, me want food. We always understood him. You get my point? He didn't say, he didn't know what to say it nice, or his accent was thick. So what? He can communicate. He doesn't have to say anything but what he's saying, and we understand exactly what he wants. Allow yourself to be the old Cuban guy. Okay? It's cool. You will be understood. The thing you'll realize is that in Arabic is such an international language, everybody sounds like the old Cuban guy to somebody. Okay? Even the Arab guy sounds like the old Cuban guy. You know, when you get to some of the people like in Medina, they speak some of the worst Arabic I've ever heard anywhere. Seriously. You go to some of those guys in the stores and stuff like that, they're not speaking really great Arabic. It's very terrible. I'm dead serious. So you feel good, like, man, why did I study this for such a long time? No. But that way you won't feel, at odds. And you'll get better. Inshallah ta'ala, you'll get better with that. The other thing is that what you'll do with those 1,000 words is you'll make sentences out of them. Okay? It could be funny sentences. It doesn't have to be realistic sentences. It has to be sentences that show the context, the contextual understanding of the word. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Okay, so let's say the word is bab. Everybody say that?
Bab.
Every word I say from now on in Arabic, you have to say. Bab.
Bab.
There's another thing. We will not, as much as possible, write down a translation of the word. What will we do? What will we do?
Write the pictures.
Write the picture? No,
Oh,
draw the picture.
Yeah, you know what I mean.
Draw the picture. Okay? Why do we draw the picture?
Visualization. Yeah.
It's
You're
more.
running a track to your mind. A quick, fast track. You take the express as opposed to stopping at every stop, right? So that's what we want to do. We want to get some, so if you have to get some colored crayons or something like that, something that doesn't bleed through, and doesn't it take a lot of energy? It takes a lot of attention to do this. You're talking about 1,000 words here, okay? You're talking about reading exercises. You're talking about doing Duolingo. It's taking a lot of your time, right?
Yep.
If you're not willing to give the time, you will not learn Arabic, okay? You will not learn Arabic. I remember back in the days, I read a book on learning Swahili in 3 months. In the first chapter, it says, you will learn Swahili in 3 months if you're ready to give an hour every night. 1 hour every night for the next 90 days. You will get it. Does that make sense?
Yes.
It took me a year to do that. Because I would fall off and then say, oh man, I got to start back at the beginning to do, the 90 days and do the 90 days. 90 days. But it took me a year to find 90 consecutive days, okay, in order to do that. Same thing, I wanted to do a split. The teacher said, listen, you could do a split in 90 days. Let's stick with 90 days. Because it doesn't take that long for you to develop a habit. But you have to sit in a split position for 15 minutes for the first 30 days, then for 30 minutes for the next 30 days, and then for 45 minutes for the next 30 days, and by that time you'll drop down. Towards the last 15 days, you'll just fall down into the position. And I did that. I stayed with that particular program really, really quick because you couldn't get a black belt if you couldn't do a split. And I was like, no, I'm not gonna get kicked out of this thing, right? But you get my point? Yes. 90 days. But who gives the 90 days? That's the thing. Who's willing to give the 90 days and stay the course and pay the man? Okay? You gotta pay. See, we as Westerners, we wanna buy our way in. Okay? How much I gotta pay? You gotta pay time. Okay? You gotta put your time in. That's what you have to pay. You have to put some backside into it. Okay? You're not studying till you fall asleep doing it. You're not studying till you're dreaming about it, daydreaming about it, saying it abruptly when you're in the shower. You know what I'm saying? That's when you're studying. If you're not doing that, you're just procrastinating, doing busy work. Does that make sense, everybody?
Yes.
I'm just telling you this is the route. And then all of a sudden, it'll start making sense. There will be some confusion. That's part of it. Don't run away from it. Remember, why don't people learn a language normally?
Fear.
You have to know what the blockers are so you can recognize them. The biggest reason people do not learn a language is not because they can't. They don't because they are afraid to sound like fools. They're afraid to fail. They're afraid to open their mouth and go, That's what they're afraid of.
Not wise.
Not wise. That's very good. But here, this is the time for that, okay? That's part of the process of getting stuck. What do? You laugh at yourself. Laugh at no big thing, small thing to a mental giant. This is part of it. You recognize it what it is. I'm learning, okay? I'm learning because at least I'm here. I know the word, I just can't get it out. So practice makes improvement, right?
Yes.
Practice makes improvement. Now that means you go and look at those words again. You put them things into context. Now I said the word bab. Everybody say bab?
Bab.
Now, that is a bab, right? This is a bab right there, right? This is a bab. This thing behind me here is a bab, right? So if I'm going to write a sentence about a bab, the man entered the house through the bab, through the front bab. And then he noticed that the back bab was open into the backyard. And he went and he closed the bab and said, who left the back bab open? Did you see what I did?
Yes.
We reiterated the contextual understanding of that word. Anybody listening to that could understand what we're talking about without us having to put in there the word, what bab means. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Then we have to remember that what we're going to be doing here is we're going to be using words we already know. What's the first surah in the Quran? That is a word. Everybody knows what Fatiha means, right?
No.
So even if I say, hey, Fatiha al-Bab, go in Fatiha al-Bab, you know what I'm saying, right? Is it a perfect Arabic sentence?
No.
Not in the least. Anybody speaking Arabic will understand it, though. No one understanding Arabic will get you confused about what you want and what you intended. So be happy that you can say that and be understood, because that's the objective. Do children know grammar?
No.
No.
No. They normally don't know grammar at all. Most adults don't know grammar. Prepositional clause, adjective, and adverb, and all that other stuff. They're like, yeah, I remember that. Stay away. I caught that in 3rd grade. I don't want to get it again. You get my point? But we don't need those things to speak, do we?
No.
What do we learn about speaking? Rhythm. Our minds are making algorithms. Okay? They're listening to what you said and how you did it, and they said, okay, and then they start putting together their own coding it, right, like that. We're coding it. It's okay, we did like this. Okay, got it. Let it happen. It can only happen through listening to Arabs speaking. Okay? Listening, watching programs that have the subtitles. Does everybody here have Netflix?
Yes.
No? If you don't, those people who have Netflix, you're good. Why? Because all you got to do is put Arab movies, okay? Arabic movies on Netflix, and it'll bring you all the movies that have Arabic subtitles or Arabic movies that can put it in the sound of Arabic and English subtitles. The other day I did that, and they have Mowgli, which is what's the thing of the boy in the jungle, right? Right? And it was in Arabic, okay? Now, normally I would not have let my children watch the program, but because I was checking for which movies would pop up for under Arabic, and that was one of it, I popped it up. I saw it with English subtitles. Now there are a lot of movies out there that you can watch that to be put right in the Arabic. You can hear the Arabic and see it in subtitles. What is that going to do for you? It's going to get your ear, because there's 2 things you have to master here. The listening and the speaking. The listening is more important than the speaking. What's the first thing that is, the first organ that is formed in your body after the heart? The ears. The ears are the first thing that start working while the baby is still unborn in the womb. Eyes don't even work. Okay, mouth don't work. We don't know if he's feeling at that time, right? But we do know that he's hearing at that time. So we need to hear and get used to the language. And that's going to be done. So part of your assignments is you have to watch programs. Arabic programs. Now you can choose whichever ones you want on Netflix if you have it. I will give you some that I know from YouTube and share some links of children's cartoons. Okay? Children's cartoons, a lot of them are Islamic, that you can watch and benefit from, and listening to and watch them acting. Children's cartoons are really good because they are designed to educate the child, okay? They over-exaggerate the body language and everything like that, and the scenery helps with understanding. You have to go back to being a child in Arabic, okay? And then come up. Oh, your years will be weeks, okay? Your years will be weeks, and you inundate yourself with studying. Now, I'm not saying an hour a night like the guy said in the Swahili book. No, as much time as you can. This is your, not dunya, your hereafter and dunya, okay? You know how much people spend money on trying to live in this world and preparing for this world, right? Now, we're saying we're going to do this, and this is going to benefit us fil akhirah, in the hereafter and in this dunya. It's going to change your life the next 4 months. However, you cannot just do it when you're in the class with me. Does that make sense?
Yes.
All right, stand up. Shake it out. Come on. Where is Eunice? Oh, he's here? Good. All right, swing it around, swing it around. Kick your arms. Rub your belly, touch your head. Move your arms back and forth. All right, sit down, everybody, please. What are you doing sitting down? Stand up, brother. Just because you workout king, get on your feet, man. You got to join the class. Come on, man, stand up. No, you got to stand up, man. Come on, man.
You don't want to show us out, see?
Yeah, come on, sit down.
Show us out.
Just because he's a workout kid, I'm not going to stand up, man. Come on. Humor us, regular humor.
Exactly.
Right? Us mere mortals. All right, now, Say ana. What did I say? That 20% is verbal, the rest of it is physical. Do what I do. Ana. Ana. Point at someone, look them in the face and say, want. Not ant, want. Want. Point at them. Ana. Want. Ana. Want. With these two words, we're going to have a conversation. Okay? Assalamu alaikum.
وعليكم السلام.
كيف حالكم؟
الحمد لله. وكيف حالك؟
أنا بخير والحمد لله.
والحمد لله.
أنا أبو توبة مخلص. وأنت؟
مرغي الإدريسي.
الحمد لله.
الحمد لله.
أنا أستاذ. وأنت؟
وأنا أستاذ.
ما شاء الله.
ما شاء الله.
أنا فلاني من نيويورك. وأنت؟
وأنا سوداني من الخرطوم.
ما شاء الله. بارك الله فيكم.
بارك الله فيك.
والسلام عليكم.
وعليكم السلام ورحمة الله.
Did you see what we did?
Yes.
Okay. With just those few words, we had a whole first conversation. Does that make sense?
Yes.
We're going to start talking now. Let's do it again. Now, I'm going to talk to everybody, and everybody talk back to me. Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum assalam.
Sheepskates, man. Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullah.
كيف حالكم?
Alhamdulillah bi khairan.
Remember, the word alhamdulillah is like, you have to say it celebratively, okay? When you always, that's the way the term is. It goes from being what we thought it was in English as we translate, but in Arabic now, it becomes a different type of expression. I'll give you an example. Say astaghfirullah.
Astaghfirullah.
Now we know what that normally means, right? But in Arabic, when you're having a conversation, compliment me. Give me a compliment.
السلام عليكم.
وعليكم السلام ورحمة الله. قل لي هذا جيد.
ما هذا الذي تلبس؟
هذا يعني ردائي جميل، أليس كذلك؟
نعم. هو جميل والحمد لله.
أستغفر الله. فهمت علي؟
No.
جزاك الله خير. Now, how did I use astaghfirullah then? In a humble way, to be like, astaghfirullah. You didn't have to. You see how that works?
No.
Isn't that beautiful? Jameel, I'm in Jameel. Jameel, beautiful. Isn't that Jameel?
No.
Okay, come off your hand, young man. Sit up. Shukran jazeelan. So that's the same thing with alhamdulillah and other expressions too. We use them in a very expressive way. So when I'm asking you how you are, you're gonna be like alhamdulillah. You know what I'm saying? In this way, or alhamdulillah. It's all certain types of gratitude based on what's going on with you. And you gotta find a way to express that. Because they say tonations speak volumes unsounded, right?
Yes.
So you use that in the communication. Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullah.
كيف حالكم?
Alhamdulillah bi khair. كيف حالك يا
Okay,
أخي؟
time out. What manners? Ain al-adab. If someone asks you how you doing, what should you say? You should respond.
No.
You don't have to. Now, there's a number of ways you can do that. You can say what?
وكيف حالك أنت؟
وَكَيْفَ حَالُكَ أَنْتَ. The anta at the end is ta'kid. Emphasizing. How are you? You know what I'm saying? You get my point?
No.
Or you could say what? What else can you say?
Wa anta?
Want. Right? Not wa anta. I don't want that. That's too broken up. You glide it. Want.
Wa.
You get it? Almost like it's one. The same thing like we say, hey, what's up?
What's up?
We don't say, what's up? What is up, my brother? Right? We don't say that. If somebody came up to you and said, hey, assalamu alaikum, what is up? You say, okay. I. Get I. We do the same thing in English. So understand where it comes in Arabic. You see, sometimes I say want, but sometimes if you're talking to a woman, you can say want.
No.
Even though normally in Arabic, when we're speaking with tajweed, we don't end on a kasra or fatha or dhamma, right? We're not reciting Quran, are we? All right then. The rules are different. You feel me?
Naam.
Aywa. Alhamdulillah Rabbil Alameen. So, Assalamu alaikum.
وعليكم السلام.
كيف حالكم؟
الحمد لله.
الحمد لله أنا بخير أيضا. شكرا لكم.
الحمد لله.
أنا أبو توبة مخلص. وأنتم؟
أنا محمد لودي. أنا محمد لودي.
You gotta hear yourself say it, right?
نعم.
Because you see, even the Shaikh, he hesitated on what to say. Why? That's why we're scripting ours. We're prepared. Prepared, right? Before we have the conversation. And we practice it, we drill it. Okay? So that we get used to doing it. You should call each other. You have to have a study buddy. And talk to one. Assalamu alaikum. Wa alaikum salam. Kayfa halukum? La bas alhamdulillah. Wa kayfa ant? La bas alhamdulillah. Shukran. Why are we saying shukran? I'm thanking you for asking about me, right? Shukran or shukran lakum. You get my point? You know, these are all ways you say those types of things. Jazakallah khair, barakallah fikum. And then you say other things. Assalamu alaikum.
وعليكم السلام ورحمة الله وبركاته.
كيف حالكم?
الحمد لله.
كيف حالك أنت؟
لا بأس الحمد لله. شكرا الحمد لله. بارك الله فيكم.
وفيكم.
أنا أبو توبة مخلص. وأنتم؟
أنا محمد لودي.
مرة أخرى ماذا؟
أنا حسن أبي سمية.
I want to see body language. Because that helps you. That helps you. The body language helps remind you of what you're talking about. Does that make sense?
نعم.
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 أنا أبو توبة مخلص. وأنتم؟
أنا محمد لودي.
الحمد لله. أنا أستاذ مدرس القرآن والعربي. وأنتم؟ Alhamdulillah, she said, I'm a teacher. Good. If you don't know the word, then say it in English. That's what we're scripting it. Now we find out what trades you want to say is yours, and we find that particular word for you. Does that make sense, everybody?
نعم.
So if it's a woman that stays at home because she's the lord of her house, we call it Rabbatul Bayt. Ana Rabbatul Bayt. You get my point? Hakada. And that's a big situation because the main Rabbatul Bayt was Khadija.
نعم.
Okay? So it's not like it's in the Western world, the Rabbatul Bayt is like diminished. Not in the Islamic concept. Okay? That means I'm a real woman. That's the concept. You get my point?
No.
Not that businesswoman or anything is not, but you get my point. Now, whatever, ana tajir, you get my point? Whatever it is, ana muhandis. Okay? There's all different types of teachers. Mudarrib, coach, you know, if it's dealing with different types of things. Okay? Or muhandis if it's a type of mechanic dealing with that. So we can think about those particular specific words, and that's what you ask me. You get my point?
نعم.
And then we script your conversation. You script it, and you get the necessary things that you need from that. أنا أستاذ أدرس اللغة العربية والقرآن وأنتم لا تتجمجمي. Don't mumble.
أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله أشهد أن محمدا رسول الله أشهد أن محمدا رسول الله حي على الصلاة حي على
got three things. Name, right? You put your ism, right? Then you put your, when you put your, after your name, then you say your ethnicity, right? And place, hometown, let's say hometown, right? Now, in Arabic or anything else, when you are doing this, let's say you're from North Carolina. You don't say North Carolina. Nobody knows North Carolina outside of the United States. So what should you say?
America.
America. But if you come from New York or DC or Chicago or LA, then you can say those places. You get my point? Because everybody knows those places. Outside that, just say America. Why? Your first conversation is going to lead to your next conversation. You guys get my point?
Yes.
Where it's more detailed if you decide to go that route. Okay, so you have your name, you have your ethnicity and place. You usually say those things together. Okay. The next thing you say is your job. Okay, what you do. You guys get my point?
No.
Now there's another statement. Fursa, say fursa.
Fursa.
Sa'ida. It basically means pleased to meet you. Good, have a good opportunity that I met you. فرصة سعيدة.
فرصة
فرصة سعيدة. فرصة سعيدة.
فرصة سعيدة.
فرصة.
فرصة.
It's a song. فرصة.
فرصة.
سعيدة. Right? That's what you say. Like, I'll give you an example. السلام عليكم. كيف حالكم؟
الحمد لله.
لباس عليك؟
لا بأس عليك.
الحمد لله بارك الله فيكم. أنا أبو توبة مخلص وأنت؟
وأنا نوغل بإدريس.
ما شاء الله. أنا فلاتة من نيويورك وأنت؟
وأنا سوداني من درمان.
ما شاء الله من درمان وخرطوم.
كلهم واحد.
ما شاء الله بارك الله فيكم. أحسن الله عليكم.
بارك
فرصة سعيدة.
الحمد لله بارك الله فيك.
وفيكم بارك الله. أيوة السلام عليكم.
عليكم السلام ورحمة الله.
Were you able to follow me, guys?
Yes.
Okay. فرصة سعيدة.
فرصة سعيدة.
Otherwise that, all I said was barakallah fikum. Everybody knows that, right? MashaAllah. Tabarakallah. That's most of our conversation in the beginning part of a conversation. The beauty of Islam is we're always blessing each other, making dua for each other. Okay? That's all it is. So, alhamdulillah, yes ma'am.
What is the last
La bats. Good, thank you very much. La, say it. La bats.
Bats.
La bats.
La bats.
None too tough. La bats means nothing too tough. No evil. La bats means nothing too tough. Okay? La bats. There's a little hiccup there. La bats.
La bats.
But you can say la bats.
La bats.
And you can drag the S out a little bit. Okay? But it's just what it is. La bats means nothing too tough. How you doing? La bats? Well, alhamdulillah. Kul shay la bas, right? Everything's good. And see, you said shay. In Arabic, when we're talking, we usually don't say shay. We say shh. Kul shh. Get it? Yes, shh. Kul shh la bas. Kul shay. You can say shay, but I'm saying a lot of times you'll say hey shh. Whenever you hear shh, it means shay.
What is something?
Yeah, something. Shay means something.
The Fursa.
For society means happy opportunity. Happy here. Happy to meet you. Glad to meet you. You get my point? The whole thing means glad to meet you. That this moment is a happy moment. Fursa Sa'ida.
So that's one of the phrases you saying.
That's one of the phrases. All the things I'm giving you is phrases. La bats is a phrase.
La bats.
Someone steps on your foot. What do you say?
La bats.
La bats.
Sorry.
I got another one.
But yeah.
No. You don't say la bats when you step in. You don't say that. And you don't say Fursa Sa'ida either.
Yeah, exactly.
But you say Afwan,
Afwan.
Smahali or something like that.
No.
But the other person is going to say La bats.
La bats.
La bats. Ma fish mushkila. Things like that.
Thank you.
But I don't want to give you too much at one time. We start piece by piece, put it in order. Okay? The other stuff will come easy. So we come in and we say Ismi, or you don't have to say Ismi. Ana. Ana Abu Tawb Mukhs. You never just say one name. Ana Abu Tawb. No. Hey, I can't take a check from you. You get my point? We already learned that from the four Gospels, right? We want your whole name. Not John, Luke, Paul, or whatever the thing is. We want your name. Not who are you? What are you? This usually is a problem for Africans in America because they don't know who they are. So they just say, Afriki, Ameriki, and people be like, oh, what does that mean? You know, America's an international place. You know, what are you, cat? You know what I'm saying? And then if you say you don't know, then, you know, which really runs into an issue because we say, well, people treat us like, you know, they don't treat us the same. You know, you're the only one that don't know what you are. And seemingly don't care. So you say, well, why will people treat us like slaves? Well, act like a slave. If you say, you know, I don't know and I don't care, the first thing they say, well, you know, aren't you free? Well, why don't you know who you are? You don't care? Okay, that's where we're going to put you. You guys get my point?
No.
And so we got to own that to get it off of us. You know, everybody follow me? You know, and so you say, hey, what are you? You have to be something. And if that's not impacting and important to you, then you're not that important to me either. And this is our conversation that we got to get. And it's really simple nowadays to find out who you are. Okay, I need me to say it again. 23andMe, African ancestry. These things, they cost very little. And I suggest you to do the female, the maternity side. Because all of our maternity sides are like 98% go back to who you are. Whereas 60% of our paternal side turns out to be Eurocentric, which shows you who should be worried about raping who. You get my point?
No.
You know, and that's another stark reality that we have to, you know, put our mouth and understand, so that when you're dealing with this individual, you understand who you're dealing with and the consequences thereof. And that comes in our introductory statement. Who am I? Okay? Like me, I'm a Fulani. So I say I'm a Fulani. I'm in New York, from New York. So now I haven't told you what you know about me. I'm a Fulani man from New York City. There's no questions after that. It's very clear. Then I say my job, whatever my job is. Does that make sense? Yeah. A lot of us are Fulani. They wanted us for the rice and for the cows and whatnot. So, alhamdulillah, then you job. That's it. You don't give too much information in that first opening conversation, do you?
No.
Yes, sir.
Can't you use la mushkila for la bas?
You can say la mushkila, nah, but it's not normal. Normally when you say ma fish mushkila. Subhanaka Allahumma wa bihamdika ashhadu an la ilaha illa anta astaghfiruka wa atubu ilayk. Alhamdulillah. Let's go. I'm sorry. We can contact